This is Operations Management, MAN-812, Module 2, Study Session 3, Productivity in Organizations. The expected duration of this course study session is 1 week. Introduction. Productivity has now become an everyday watchword. It is crucial to the welfare of the industrial firm as well as for the economic progress of the country. High productivity refers to doing the work in the shortest possible time with the least expenditure on inputs without sacrificing quality and with minimum wastage of resources. As we proceed in this lecture, you will learn about 1. Meaning of productivity, 2. Production and productivity, 3. Expectations from productivity, 4. Benefits from productivity, and 5. Productivity measures. Learning outcomes for this session. When you have studied this session, you should be able to define and use correctly the keywords printed in bold in your study manual, enumerate how productivity can be increased, discuss at least 2 benefits of productivity. Meaning of productivity. Productivity has now become an everyday watchword. It is crucial to the welfare of the industrial firm as well as for the economic progress of the country. High productivity refers to doing the work in the shortest possible time with least expenditure on inputs without sacrificing quality and with minimum wastage of resources. Today, the term productivity has acquired a wider meaning. Originally, it was used only to rate workers according to their skills. The person who produced more, either faster or harder, was said to have higher productivity. Subsequently, emphasis was shifted from improvement in hourly output by analyzing and improving upon the techniques used by different workers. Subsequently, emphasis was shifted from improvement in hourly output by analyzing and improving upon the techniques applied by different workers. A system of measurement was then evolved to compare the improvements made in relation to the rate of output, and in order to improve productivity further, machines were introduced. Manufacturers of machines started incorporating new features with the help of latest technological developments. Today, we have machines that are completely controlled by computers. Computers have now become powerful tools towards improving productivity. Productivity is a quantitative relation between what we produce and what we use as a resource to produce them. That is, it is the arithmetic ratio of amount produced, that is output, to the amount of resources input. Mathematically, productivity can be expressed as output over input. Productivity refers to the efficiency of the production system. It is the concept that guides the management of production system. It is the indicator of how well the factors of production, that is land, capital, labor, and energy, are utilized. European Productivity Agency, EPA, as cited by Martin, 2009, has defined productivity as an attitude of mind. It is the mentality of progress, of the constant improvement of that which exists. It is the certainty of being able to do better today than yesterday and continuously. It is the constant adaptation of economic and social life to changing conditions. It is the continual effort to apply new techniques and methods. It is the faith in human progress. A major problem with productivity is that it means many things to many people. Economists determine it from gross national product, GNP. Managers view it as cost-cutting and speed-up. Engineers think of it in terms of more output per hour. But generally accepted meaning is that productivity is the relationship between goods and services produced and the resources employed in their production. Take a look at Table 3.1 to examine how productivity is viewed by different people. Economists view productivity as ratio of output to input. Accountants view productivity as financial ratios, budgetary variances. Behavioral scientists view productivity in terms of labor utilization, while engineers view productivity in terms of capacity utilization, production per man-hour, manpower efficiency, and all that, and so on. Box 3.1. Various definitions of productivity. There are various definitions of productivity, among which are 1. Productivity is a function of providing more and more of everything to more and more people with less and less consumption of resources. 1. Productivity is a function of providing more and more of everything to more and more people with less and less consumption of resources. 2. Productivity is the volume of output attained in a given period of time in relation to the sum of the direct and indirect efforts expended in its production. 3. Productivity is the measure of how well the resources are brought together in an organization and utilized for accomplishing a set of objectives. 4. Productivity is concerned with establishing congruency between organizational goals with societal aspirations through input-output relationship. And 5. Productivity is the multiplier effect of efficiency and effectiveness. Production and productivity. You should note clearly that the concept of production and productivity are totally different. Production refers to absolute output, whereas productivity is a relative term where the output is always expressed in terms of inputs. Increase in production may or may not be an indicator of increase in productivity. If the production is increased for the same output, then there is an increase in productivity. If the production is increased for the same input, then there is an increase in productivity. Production is defined as a process or procedure to transform a set of input into output having the desired utility and quality. Production is a value addition process. Production system is an organized process of conversion of raw materials into useful finished products represented as in Figure 3.1 in your course study manual. Productivity can be increased. These are the following scenarios under which productivity can be increased. 1. When production is increased without increase in inputs. 2. When the same production is achieved with decrease in inputs. And 3. When the rate of increase in input is more compared to the rate of increase in outputs. Let us consider an example. A company produces 160 kilograms of plastic molded parts of acceptable quality by consuming 200 kilograms of raw materials for a particular product for a particular period. For the next period, the output is doubled, that is doubled to 320 kilograms by consuming 420 kilograms of raw material, and for the third period, the output is increased to 400 kilograms by consuming 400 kilograms of raw materials. During the first year, production is 160 kilograms. Productivity equals output. Productivity equals output over input, which is 160 over 200, which is equal to 0.8 or 80%. For the second year, production is increased by 100%. That is, output 320 over 420 equals 0.76 or 76%. For the third period, production is increased by 150%. That is 400 over 400, which is equal to 1.0 or 100%. Comments. From the above illustration, it is clear that for the second period, though production has doubled, productivity has decreased from 80% to 76% for a third 76%. For the third period, production is increased by 150% and correspondingly productivity increased from 80% to 100%. Expectations from productivity. Expectations differ among the various stakeholders. Some of the expectations are quite contrasting. That is, the workers expect more leisure time in contrast to managers' expectations of hard work. Table 3.2 shows the expectations of various groups interested in productivity. Column 1, various groups. Column 2, their expectations on productivity. Management and entrepreneurs expect high return on investments, higher market share, and corporate image. Managers expect maximum utilization of resources, lower unit costs, higher quality. Workers expect higher wages, safer work environment, increased quality of work life, and so on. Suppliers expect prompt payment and continuous order. Customers expect lower cost, quality, reliability, safety, and timeliness of delivery. Government expects economic development, employment generation, more exports. Why shareholders expect higher dividends. Benefits of productivity. Productivity integrates the objectives of owners and workers. Productivity also contributes towards increasing production through efficient use of resources and inputs rather than making workers to work hard. Productivity strives to minimize human hazards and human efforts with a view to utilizing them to those areas where they can contribute maximum to the output. Productivity measures. Productivity can be measured in any of the following ways. 1. Partial productivity measures, ppm. 2. Total productivity measures, TPM. And most times, there is a misconception about productivity in the minds of the workforce. To the workers, higher productivity means higher workload, higher efforts, more profits to owners, and unemployment and threats to job security. These are not correct observations. 3. Total factor productivity measure. Productivity measures. Productivity can be measured in any of the following ways. 1. Partial productivity measures, ppm. 2. Total productivity measures, TPM. And 3. Total factor productivity measure, TFP. In-text question. John is not clear how productivity can be measured. How would you explain that to him? The answer is, there are three ways in which productivity can be measured. And they are 1. Partial productivity measures. 2. Total productivity measures. 3. Total factor productivity measures. Let us examine each of these measures. Partial productivity measures, ppm. Depending on the individual output, partial productivity measures are expressed as partial productivity equals total output over individual output. For example, labor productivity equals total output divided by individual output. Capital productivity equals total output divided by capital output. Material productivity equals total output divided by material output. And energy productivity equals total output divided by energy output. One of the major disadvantages of partial productivity measures is that there is an overemphasis on one input factor to the extent that other inputs are underestimated or even ignored. These cannot represent the overall productivity of the firm. Total productivity measures, TPM. This is based on all the inputs. This model can be applied to any manufacturing organization or service firm. Total productivity equals total output divided by total tangible input. It should be noted that the output of the firm as well as the input must be expressed in a common measurement. Martin, 2009, identified the following as the features of total productivity measures. 1. Gives both firm level and detailed unit level index. 2. Helps to find out the performance and productivity of the operational unit. 3. Helps to plan, evaluate, and control. And 4. An important information to strategic planners regarding expansion or phasing out decision. Total factor productivity measures, TFP. This refers to the ratio of net output to the labor and capital outputs. Total factor productivity is calculated by total output divided by labor plus capital inputs. Let us now summarize this session. In session 3, you have learned that 1. Productivity is concerned with establishing congruency between organizational goals with societal aspirations through input-output relationship. 2. The concept of production and productivity are totally different. 3. Production refers to absolute output, whereas productivity is a relative term wherein input is always expressed in terms of output, wherein output is always expressed in terms of input. 4. Increase in production may or may not be an indicator of increase in productivity. If the production is increased for the same output, then there is an increase in productivity. 5. Productivity integrates the objectives of owners and workers. 6. Productivity contributes towards increase in production through efficient use of resources and inputs rather than making workers to work hard. Self-assessment questions. Now that you have completed this study session, you can assess how well you have achieved these learning outcomes by answering the following questions. You can check your answers with the notes on the self-assessment questions. Question 1. What term is defined by the following statement? A. Ratio of output to input, partial and total productivity measure. B. Financial ratios and budgetary variances. Financial ratios and budgetary variances. C. Labor utilization on man days. 4. Capacity utilization, production per man hour, and manpower efficiency. Which of the following statements is or are correct? A. Production is defined as a process which transforms a set of input into output having the desired utility and quality. B. Production is a value multiplication process. C. Production refers to relative output. D. Production is the conversion of raw materials into useful finished products. The following are features of what? A. Gives both firm level and detailed unit level index. B. Helps to find out the performance and productivity of the operational unit. C. Helps to plan, evaluate, and control. D. An important information to strategic planners regarding expansion or phasing out decision. Question 2. Oatmeal, a food manufacturing company, has tried all methods available to them to increase productivity as it has been low for about 4 months. List how productivity can be increased. Question 3. Discuss the benefits of productivity to oatmeal. Refer to your course manual for further references and further reading. You have come to the end of Module 2.